The first one was a pay to play, and I put that on my credit card too, and I was just like, I just want my, like, grubby little fingers on a sales call, that's it. I just
What do you
wanted
mean
to
pay to play?
like, it was 5K to get. I had no
To
experience.
sell for the offer?
Yeah,
No way.
yeah. I and I did it, I went, and I sold and did okay. Um
Welcome to Café is for Closers, the show where sales stops feeling salesy. I'm Andres Mego, and every week we break down real conversations, real objections, and real wins so you can turn pressure into partnerships and close more deals the right way. So grab your coffee, aka your café, and let's jam.
What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Cafe is for Closers. I'm here with Adele, a student of mine. If you guys are in the high ticket space, if you're a sales professional, maybe you're wanting to get in, but ideally, if you're already in the game, like, subscribe, follow for more. And also, if you already run your own coaching business, you're doing between 30, say, and 80K a month, and you want to put your ego aside and address the fact that you're not that good at sales, or you're starting to build on a team and you know your team needs to develop quicker. That is exactly kind of what I do. Follow for more and comment somewhere below frameworks. And I can say I have tons of trainings that I can send over, so you can get a better sense of kind of what I do and start helping your team help you scale and make more money. What's going on, guys? Andres here. I'm here with Adele, who is a savage female closer, now growth operator in the online high ticket sales space. Welcome to another chat with Cafes for Closers here in Colombia. This episode is going to be special. Adele and I actually just filmed a little bit of a shorter interview, but she's been in the industry for less than 8 months, has gone from being a closer to a top producer, and now she's growth operating on one, if not close to two offers that she's helping scale. We're going to talk a little bit about her journey and kind of how she's been able to get to where she is. For all you guys who are closing, the females out there, to see what's possible for you guys as well. Bully some of the boys, get them off the top of the leaderboard. So without further ado, tell us a little bit about who you are, and then we'll dive into your journey.
Yeah, I appreciate that intro. Thank you. My name's Adele. I, like Andre said, have been in this space for about 8 months, or at least closing. I've been studying, getting into it, and it's been a bit of a whirlwind. Like I started out knocking doors, just fell in love with the sales process. Didn't fall in love with the 106 degree, 90% humidity. And I realized I wanted a bit more out of this, learn about high ticket, and just kind of dove. It was either like do this or don't. So I burned the boats, is that the saying? And went all in.
So where were you door knocking?
Kansas City and Missouri.
It's interesting. Like before I got into high ticket, before my entrepreneurial career started, I was working in landscaping in like San Diego. It's making like $13.50 an hour. And it was like 105 degrees outside.
Yep.
I've had a common thread of like people I've interviewed that have had some form of like just real tough grind. And that's why they crushed it in sales, because it's like, compared to that, it's just so easy.
It's easy. Yeah. There's not a single day that I'm not like, I'm next to an air conditioner. I think it's going to be fine.
People are like booked on my calendar. And if they're not, I'll just call them.
Yeah. Because you're not, it's just nothing can phase you after that.
Yeah.
Yeah. No doubt.
So how long did you do door to door for?
4 months. It was
like one full season.
One full season. Yeah.
Okay.
So my whole goal was just make it through the summer. There's like it's literally like a 50 or 75% drop off from people that start the summer and finish the summer. And so I literally would wake up, I'm like, I need to sell one person $1,000 pest control.
Oh, it was pest control.
Yeah. I grew up escorting spiders outside of my house. Like there was no alignment with what I was doing.
Congruency.
Except for how challenging it was. And I was like,
what about like the challenging nature made you want to follow through with it? Most people quit.
I mean, I think I knew that that's why I was going. So I was really prepared for it to be a challenge. I think I was very aware of where I was feeling limited. In terms of like pursuing opportunities, I definitely had like a really major fear of rejection. And there's no better, quicker way to get rejected than.
But what made you like, what was it that like gave you that awareness? Like, hey, these are areas that like are my weaknesses. I want to improve them. Because how old were you at the time?
I would have been 24.
Like at that age, I mean, not even an age thing, but like your first sales role, I think people are just driven like, I want to make money. But it
Yeah.
sounds like for you, you wanted to develop like a set of skills.
Yes. So I actually felt like I was stepping away from money by doing that because I had a pretty set.
Really?
I mean, it wasn't like nothing was set in stone, but like I knew exactly what I was doing and I knew I could do it. And so going to door to door was kind of met with a lot of resistance at first.
From you or like externally?
Externally.
Like family?
They're like, are you crazy? Why are you doing this? You're gonna get kidnapped. But I think I noticed, so I have a thing where it's, if you just close your eyes and you think about it, does it feel expansive or does it feel contracting? When door to door was first proposed to me, I think I was like in Vegas for somebody's birthday party. And it was just like a buddy that I was kind of close with. And he was like, do you want to do this? And it felt so expansive. And I was like, no, I'll never do that. That sounds horrible. But then when I was thinking about it, I was like, dang it. I think my body knows I should go do that. Like those, like moving through all of those challenges.
Yeah.
What's on the other side of it. So I think it just like nagged at me until I just went and did
Really?
it. Yeah. It was like a 3-day period. And then I messaged him and I was like, take me
Wow.
to Kansas. Yeah.
And so you're in Vegas, but you're living in Washington?
I was in Flagstaff, Arizona at the time. Yeah.
All right, let's go to Kansas for
Let's
the
go
summer.
to Kansas. Me and 40 frat boys.
In like a
Yeah.
bunkhouse?
Which on top of that, like that also was terrifying to me. I don't know how to talk to them, but they were
Wow.
great. Yeah.
What a cool like realization to have, because like I think if more people came into sales with that like expectation, they
Yeah.
would develop as quick as you have.
Yeah.
And we'll go into that. But so you're doing that for the summer. How did you find out about high ticket sales?
Shelby Sapp sold for the same pest control company that I sold for.
No way.
Everybody talked about her. She was just launching her academy. And I was so inspired by like a woman in this space. Didn't have, God, it's such a theme for me. Didn't have a cent to spare, put it on my credit card. And I just enrolled
Shelby's
in
program.
her program.
Wow.
Yeah. And I can't say that I was wildly prepared for the high ticket space after that, but it's a foot in the door. Like you can't know everything from a 3-month course. But I think the attitude of figure it out, grind it out, look for opportunities, like carried into that. And that's what allowed me to be successful.
And so you got into so you did Shelby's program. She got you into the space. She exposed you to the space, I guess.
Yes,
right?
Exactly.
How'd you, and I know this, but people watching this don't, like, how'd you land your first offer? Well, you've actually been on a couple.
Yeah.
So how'd you land the first one?
So I feel like I'm outing myself here. The first one was a pay to play. And I put that on my credit card too. And I was just like, I just want my like grubby little fingers on a sales call. That's it.
What do you mean pay to play?
Like it was $5,000 to get. I had no experience.
To sell for the offer?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. And I did it. I went and I sold and did okay.
Okay.
I don't even want to put their name out there.
Wow. I didn't know that.
I was not super aligned with it.
Sure. Well, makes sense.
Yeah. So then immediately I was like, I'm going to get on a different offer as soon as possible. But I know like experience, I feel like experience and reps is everything. So I could go and study for the next 6 months. Or I could go and just buy somebody's fitness coaching program and then plant seeds that I should be their closer until it happens.
Yeah.
And that's what I did next.
Amazing.
Yeah. Did you have experiences like that ever? Were you ever just like delusional in the way you approached it and then it worked out?
Yeah. All the time.
Like what?
I mean, I think just my entrepreneurial journey in general. I'm like, I'm going to like figure this out or I'm going to die fucking trying. And to the point that I was sleeping out of my beat up van at one point. And like in my head, I was like, I'm going to figure this out. What am I going to do?
Yeah.
Like I was in California, drive back to Connecticut and like just be a fucking failure. That's not an option.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's like, that's always been there. But also like, I didn't buy his program, but there was this one coach that I was like, I would love to work with him.
Yeah.
I just like hounded him for like weeks and sent him Loom videos. And it's like, this is why I should be your closer. Give me a shot for a month.
Yeah.
Right. I don't even care if you give me half comms. I want to prove I want to work for you.
And what better way to show that you're going to kill it on his team than to be relentless with your follow-ups.
And then he told me this later. He's like, by the time you sent me like your third Loom, I showed it to the rest of the sales team. And he's like, this is a closer. He's coming on. He's getting on the rotator.
Yeah. I think it's so easy to forget to do that part. But I remember when I was hiring closers, they would all send in a Loom that didn't adhere to like, the only request I had was like, describe your philosophy around sales. Didn't do that. No follow-ups. Just like, what are we doing here?
Or like the worst is the generic pre-recorded looms. Like, I
Yeah.
want to rip my hair out.
Y
Oh, you recorded this 3 months ago.
This is
Oh.
why I'd be good for insert team name.
Like, so much it doesn't take that much
No.
effort. If you do the bare minimum in our industry, like, you can get a job and you can, like, make at least a living.
Yeah.
You know, maybe won't crush it, but you'll make a living.
But who would wanna do this job? I feel like to make just a living that you could do as a W-2.
So you gotta say that louder for the people in the back. Yeah. Like, if you're not driven like, I think ambition and accomplishment and goals is different for everyone. But if you're not driven by, like, a deep sense of, like, creating that for
Yeah.
yourself, like, don't get into sales.
Do you feel like your why developed before? Like, was your why driving you in here, or was it money and then your why developed?
No, I think I had a why first. Like, my why was, like, to create a lifestyle where I could travel
Yeah.
and, like, experience life fully.
Right.
But to be able to do that, I needed remote income and I
Yeah.
needed income, like,
Yep.
a good income level. So, it became, like, the vehicle that aligned to the outcomes I wanted.
That is such a beautiful way of putting that. I mean, you and I have talked about it, but I feel like I have a huge resistance to, like, wanting to earn more money,
Mm.
and, like, accepting that I feel like to be very good at this job, I need to be accepting the fact that, like, more money will come because of that, but it's so true that the life I wanna live is aligned with having money, and I think that's yeah, I think that limiting belief, breaking that and working through that with you has really helped me on my sales calls as well.
Yeah. Well, I think for me too, like, because I was living out of my beat up van, which I gotta drop a picture here. I think it was like a wildebeest. I like
Is that the white one with the orange
no,
stripe?
that was my night. That was
Oh,
like my 50
my
grand
bad.
RV.
My bad.
Never insult Mushu. One of my I think I dropped 50 racks on that thing. I was so proud. No, this thing looked like Pumbaa from like The Lion King. It was brown, like maroon, fading. And then to cover up all this body work, I had this like graffiti artist, like graffiti on it. Every time I would go to Mexico, I'd get stopped because I looked like I was a drug runner. And I had like it was this old 92 van with like these big off-road tires that I threw on. Anyway, like living out of that for like a year, and living off of a few grand a month, like
Mhm.
I had unintentionally lowered like my financial thermostat. So when I got into sales and I started as a DM setter, you know, I negotiated a 2 and then later a 3K base just because I don't know, I think I negotiate pretty well and commission. And all of a sudden I was making about 4 grand. I'm like, oh my God, this is great.
Yeah, you're like, "I made it."
Right? Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm doing this and I'm doing it remote. Like,
Yeah.
what bet, you know? And it was like slowly getting exposed to other people that were making way more money
Yeah.
that started shattering the belief that with more money comes any of the negativity of like
Mm.
you're no like you're greedy or you're no longer like the same human.
Yep.
Like it is true like you're no longer the same human, but
Yeah.
doesn't make you like a bad person.
You've I'm sure heard the thing where it was like money what is it? It, like, amplifies who you actually are or something like that,
Yeah.
so if you're good or you're bad, like, it'll just tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And being around people like that started shattering my income ceiling. All of a sudden, I started making 10 grand and 15 grand. And all of a sudden, I'm like, I'm the only thing that's different is like how I carry myself
Yep.
and how I manage my time and my
Yeah.
skill set. But my core values haven't changed.
Yeah.
On the opposite side, I was able to like give back to my community or like giving back to my parents and then like just start to do more epic stuff. I'm
Totally.
like, dude, life's good. And I post this quote all the time is like, life's good, but like a good life's better.
What do
Right?
you mean by that?
Like life's good as like inherently,
Right.
like being alive, like
Yeah.
having everything we need, like just being alive, like I believe you have that. So life's good, right? And
Mhm.
like always be grateful for just waking up every day. But then like a good life's better, like being abundant, being stable,
Mhm.
being able to do the things that you want when you want. It just amplifies the experience that we have on this earth, which we all
Totally.
know is finite, you
Totally.
know?
Totally. I love that.
So that's I think like part of like the income and every level it just gets shattered. Like last night in our mastermind, you know,
It's so I know I say this to you so often, but it's like I don't even feel like I have time to celebrate, like, the wins because I keep getting exposed to people, like, we're sitting there, I'm like, 15 and they're like, "Yeah, 170K a month, like, no big deal," and I know that there are probably bigger fish sitting out there talking about their
hmm
500K,
hmm
whatever it may be, and I think it, like, has really switched, like, my thinking from, "Okay, what" what income goals are you trying to hit, or what can you do within this business? I
Mhm.
saw somebody talking about this somewhere on the internet, and he's basically like, once I stopped asking, what do I need to do to be the best in this circumstance, and started asking, what am I capable of? Like all those ceilings just disappeared.
Yeah.
And I feel like in those rooms, I'm like, these guys are asking what they're capable of, not just
Mm,
like what does it take to be the best on my fitness offer
mhm.
is not all that good if you compare it to everyone else out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, 2 things on that. One, because we've been working together for a few months, and you hitting a 15K month after you're, stuck making 3 is massive progress, and you get
Mhm.
to acknowledge yourself. Also, shameless plug to working together. Um, and it's like the more you're exposed in those rooms, like the more that you realize like you're capable of achieving that
Oh, yeah.
because they're not any smarter. Right. They just allocate their time
Yep.
differently and develop different skills. And the more you just like desensitize that, like it starts becoming like reality for yourself.
Totally. It really helped to see like those type of people who I'm totally aspiring to be similar to or better
Hmm.
than or I mean I guess it doesn't even have to be comparison, but it really humanized it for me because I was like these conversations are same in the fact that you're just talking about principles and navigating and using your time wisely. You're just doing it on a bigger scale.
Yeah.
Why couldn't that be me?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And as for you to kind of come back to your journey, like you paid for someone's program so you can get inside and show them that you're committed, which
Yeah.
is like what it takes sometimes. Like you just have to be willing to do what others aren't
Yeah.
to give yourself an opportunity that most others won't get
Yeah.
either. Right. So like kudos to you for doing that. And you've also, because I've seen you progress so quickly, like you're now essentially a partner in the business, like you're a
Mhm.
growth operator. What were some of the things you've learned throughout this process that have gotten you there?
Like in the growth operating
Yeah.
process.
Like going from like closer to growth operator.
Yeah. It's tricky. For some reason. In closing, it's very individual. I
Hmm.
really liked what we were talking about last night, actually, which I guess for some context, it was that what it takes to be a good closer is very different than what it takes to be a good growth operator or a good sales manager.
Yeah.
So it does feel like I'm stepping from one identity to the next. When
Hmm.
I'm closing, it's really like, yeah, I can't remember who was saying this last night, but it's very like urgent and technical, and I need to have my systems dialed.
Hmm.
But then when it comes to growth operating, it needs to have more of a vision. It's
Hmm.
slower. My communication needs to be better.
Hmm.
Um, I need to understand that fast progress isn't always the best progress. Like I
Mm,
passing the tier, like the higher level qualified clients off to my closers was like so tough. And
ooh.
I know there are going to be fewer sales at first because of it,
Right. Right. Right.
but it was such a bottleneck for me. So I think it was just
Mm,
learning like what does it mean to see the vision and work with that, but then also maintain what it takes to be a sharp closer because I'm also
yeah.
leading the closing team.
Hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, you're leading by example, but you're also realizing, or you're flexing like you're developing your ability to delegate, to trust,
God, it's so
to
hard.
hand off.
It's so tricky.
Yeah, wait till it's your own business.
What's your advice on that?
um, it depends on your vision.
Mm.
What's your vision, right? And
And
like your vision for the business that you
yeah.
want to grow, right?
Mhm.
And like realizing that like to get to what do you need to do to accomplish that vision?
Yeah.
And for me, it's a little bit different because my goal is to just build and continue to scale my training business with like me, some assistant coaches, and a VA. Like for the next year or two, like I don't really want to build a big team, and I don't think I need to get to where I want to be and be there sustainably, high profit margin, and good lifestyle because that's my vision. Those are my core values, right? And so, but if I was wanting to build something that needed to get to a higher scale and needed a bigger
Right.
team, like
Yeah.
if that was the vision, then I would need to accept that the growing pains to get there would be to like learning how to hand things off and
Yeah.
trusting. And then I think I learned this from Hermosi too, is that like low performers, like they're your fault, right?
Yeah.
Like you didn't
True.
do something in the hiring process, you didn't do something in the
Mhm.
onboarding process, and you kept them on long enough that they're not affecting the
Yeah.
business, and that's all your fault.
And just to be clear, in case they're watching, my girls are crushing it. This is not a shout to them, but it
Yeah.
is true that like if I'm not giving them the opportunity to crush, and then they're not crushing because of that, that's on me. I need
Exactly.
to give them the opportunity to learn to
Yeah.
do what I want them or what I see for them or the
Yeah.
business or whatever.
Bingo.
Yeah,
Her girls are crushing.
they are.
Because I'm coaching one of your
You are
students.
coaching one of them. I think I'm just gonna shuttle them all
Shut
to
them all
you.
out, man.
Yeah.
And they're hard workers. I think like you've created that environment.
That is so I think if for one thing I've learned, I think that's a big one too, is like I did not at all hire from experience. I hired from the questions they asked, the
Mm,
grind they had, and they both just had well, now there's 3 of them. So much intentionality in their
mm.
questions, the way they showed up, their kind of like, I guess, cadence. Like Kalea, I gotta shout her out because her little loom to me was just like selling me on why hiring somebody with no experience was a better move anyway. And it was just, I was just like, oh God, I gotta do it.
Yeah. And she's like, Kalea, like, she's like your mini me because she works her butt off. She comes very prepared to calls. Like, she's very intentional with seeking feedback.
Yeah.
Um, and that's, I think one of my favorite parts when I was growth operating is you're essentially an entrepreneur, right? You're at cause of the growth of the business, which also means like you're responsible for the culture you develop. And like, I think I've seen it like, at least through Kalia, because that's all I know, like the culture that you're creating there, like, you need to work hard. You need to be open to feedback. You need to be coachable. And like, that's just as important as the skills that the
Oh,
reps
yeah.
bring.
I mean, I think to me, it's like the rest follows. Like the skills are a symptom of that. And so
Hmm.
when people are looking for skills, I guess for me, the first question is like, well, how long did it take them to grow those skills? Like what built up to that? Because I think where you're at isn't necessarily a good reflection of like how fast you're willing to grow or how coachable you are.
Yeah. I interviewed Conrad here. He manages three Spanish speaking sales team, and he's Polish, doesn't speak a lick of, but he was talking about like coachability, like no ego, coachability, and hunger are what he looks for in the
Mm-hmm.
interview every time over track record, which track record is important. Like, it's not to say like only hire green people, but like look beyond it as well. Because I've had like some great reps that have had the track record that I've placed on offers.
Mm.
And because they had gotten to 20K months, they had this ego that their way was
Mm.
best.
Mm-hmm.
And they clashed with the owners of those offers
Yeah.
because they weren't performing. All right. And then the owners are like, why are we going to allow you to tell us what process works
Yeah.
when you make 20K a month and we make like $1 million plus a month?
Yeah.
Shouldn't you be open to what we're telling you?
Mm-hmm.
And that clash like just creates churn,
I
you
think,
know?
and like highlighting the fact that they're not producing. Like I feel like you're able to have a lot more creativity on your role or input if you're able to produce. But I think that's also why it's important to stay around people that humble you because
Yeah.
20K a month isn't necessarily anything if you're, on these
Yeah.
offers.
Yeah. That like if to be clear, you come on, you start closing your first few calls, right? And you're a producer. No one's going to tell you what to do.
Yeah.
No one's going to tell you what way is best. But like to do that, you have to have the skill set, and you also like just come prepared. You don't just like wing your first call. It's like, did you study the game tape? Did you study the avatar? And that's going to set you up for success as well.
Totally. Totally. Because then it can come from a collaborative place and not a challenging
Exactly.
place. Yeah.
And it's like, again, it comes down like, what's the culture within the team?
Did you ever run into that, like struggling with like kind of hitting these big months, doing well, and then noticing your ego inflating, or have you always been able to keep that in check?
Yeah, I did notice that. And then I like, I did NAPQ, and that was my basis for a year and a half. And I was doing well. Like I got to like 15, 18K months, And then I started thinking I was a shit.
Yeah.
Right. And then I joined Bill Walsh's program where there was a ton of other guys making 20K plus. And then I got humbled real quick.
Yeah.
Like I could bang and I could throw down with all of them, but I
Mhm.
realized there's a whole another like set of skills that like I
Totally.
just hadn't learned yet. So every time I've invested in new sales training program, like there's some that are for the newbies, but you'll find the longer you are, like you'll find like the more advanced ones.
Yeah.
Every time I've done those and been around like actual other killers, like, and you get like reminded like, oh, okay, there's levels to this.
Yeah. And moving through like, because I think getting into the space, just like whatever surface area you can latch onto, go learn and learn from people. And if they have experience, there's something to glean from them. How did the way you moved through seeking mentorship and like getting into spaces like that as you advanced? Because like, being if you're brand new, anything can be helpful. How did you get more intentional with, like, what spaces you put yourself in, and what's that word? It's not decisive. It's not discerning. How did you start discerning, like, who you wanted to be influenced by?
Yeah, initially it's just like initially it was what process aligns with me. That's why I jumped into NEPQ. But also Mason, a good friend of mine who coaches in my program, he's a killer. He also was selling for Seventh and was a student of them, and he was making a killing. He had like a 2K month when I was like making 10, and I was like, all right, what the fuck are you doing? Like, how do I buy it? Right. But and it was great. Like, had he not done that, like, I don't think we would have been exposed to like what's possible. So that was always
Right.
like something I'm really grateful for. And then since then, I think when I look for mentors, I look for one of it, part of it is obviously the skill,
Right.
but part of it is also like, do I align with their brand and like
Yeah.
the life that they're living? Now, that's not always the case. Like when I did Bill Walsh's program, like do I align with like Bill's like quote unquote lifestyle and how he carries himself? Not always.
Mhm.
I have a lot of love and respect for Bill, but like what I did like about his brand was work your ass off.
Yeah.
Like essentially what I paid for was like the commitment to work my ass off,
Yeah.
but also I knew there was a very clear skill deficiency with objection handling.
For yourself, you
For
mean?
myself,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Like I was closing, I was already making 15K plus,
Right.
but there was deals I was losing to the partner objection. It was pissing me
Mhm.
off and I didn't know how to handle it. And
Mhm.
Jeremy Minor stuff like just wasn't doing it.
Yeah.
So that was like when I did like Bill's program. Ever since then though, I've been more intentional on like what skills am I learning, but also is like the lifestyle that they're living, the one I want to create for
Yeah.
myself.
Yep.
And that's paid dividends. Like with my recent coach, like it's helped me like block out the noise because I'm like, this guy makes the money I want to make, but works the hours I like that I want
Yeah.
to work. Like he's built a lifestyle business,
Totally,
right?
because somebody could be making the money that you wanna make and be grinding 3 times harder than you
Yeah,
wanna be grinding, and it's like that doesn't necessarily actually align with what's possible for you.
exactly.
Yeah.
So like, because it was between his name is Dan Harrison. Shout out to Dan and this other guy Jeremy Pog, who a friend of mine sells for, who I was very considering because this guy had testimonials of clients who were making more money, but like that's not always like, when you read those testimonials of like someone had a K month,
Mhm.
you don't know what happened after. Because with info product,
Yeah.
like coaching businesses, like a lot of them burn,
Oh my gosh,
right?
yeah.
Like, or you exhaust your audience, or like it's not sustainable,
Or they refund.
or they refund.
Yeah.
Like there's all these things that you don't
Yeah.
know. Versus Dan had been consistently making like 75 to 100K a month.
Mhm.
A large percentage of that was MRR.
Mhm.
He when he works, but he like has an incredible work-life balance because he's a
Yeah.
family, like all about spirituality
Mhm.
and like eating clean and all the things that I align with in addition to making a shit ton of
Yeah.
money. And that's why I decided to go with him. And it was a very, very good move. And then a lot of my clients are actually coming from his group now.
Really?
Yeah. A lot of the business owners I coach because they go to him for systems. They go to him for lead generation.
And then
And then they're like, why are they not buying? I'm like, oh, because you suck at sales.
come on
Come over
over.
here.
Let me show you.
And that's where the collaborations start. Dan's brought me on to like co-host like trainings.
Yeah.
And so I'm getting exposed to the people who I want to work with. So there's like a whole different set of like a whole different ROI I didn't even
Yeah.
expect.
Yeah, because now also you're exposed to his audience who you're already aligned with, and
Yeah.
so it's easy transition.
Which we were talking about last night. Like, how do you get in front of these rooms? You just pay for it.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
scary initially. It's like, oh, it's like 10 grand. You'll ROI on it every time.
I think that's one thing that's been really helpful for me, and I don't know where this came from. Even though sometimes I think I'm afraid to make money, I never, ever, ever feel like I've wasted money. Even if
Yeah.
it's like even if it didn't do anything. Like I think coming in here, I spent like $1,600 on a coaching program, spent like 2 days in the classes, and I was like, this girl doesn't have skills to offer me.
No way.
I would be losing money going to these, so I'm just not going to. And for me, it
Yeah.
was like, perfect market research.
Yeah.
Check.
Do you want to blast them? Who was
What?
it?
Kidding. She was nice. She does her best. She does her
Just
best.
kidding. Actually, I wasn't kidding. Okay, cool. So that's kind of how you got into the role you're in. And I guess for you now, like what is next for Adele? Because you're
Mhm.
growth operating. Like obviously there's still things that you're gonna be learning and developing with closing, but what are some things you're excited to step into or create now?
I feel like because I'm still relatively new to the space,
Yeah.
I still have a lot of fire for honing my closing technique. Like, there's
Yeah.
no shot that I'm as good as I can be.
Yeah.
And I'm really interested in that. And
Mm.
in fact, like I've noticed when I move too far away from doing that, it starts to feel like more of a drag versus like really
Mm.
inspired by the process. So I honestly do just want to keep on honing those skills.
Yeah.
But I think when I think about what would be aligned for me doing that in the future, I love the offer I'm on. I could see
Mhm.
working with him for as long as we just work really well together.
Yeah.
And then developing more into like the coaching side. I have so much fun coaching my girls, and it like
Yeah.
brings me so much joy to get really
Yeah.
clear on their visions, what helping them fulfill those would look like. And so I think when I think about what's expansive, it would be kind of would be doing what I'm doing now, and
Yeah.
then bringing people in to teach them how to do that too.
Yeah. That'd be cool. I see you doing more mentorship for female reps. I tend to work with a lot of female reps, and partly because you guys refer some epic humans.
Yeah.
But also I think like I think the female sales professional market is very underserved in terms of training. Like there's a lot of like very good sales trainers, females who are good marketers, but not necessarily like the
Yes.
right good coaches or trainers.
Yes.
Um,
Totally.
and then funny enough, there's also a lot of very good male trainers that just don't work well with women or just won't let them in their
Yeah.
programs. I have two of my friends, one of my mentors actually, he just doesn't allow women in his program.
Which when I first heard that, a part of me was like, Why would you ever do that?" But if you don't like, it's also important to be able to know who and ho who you can best serve and
Who you
how
can
you can
best
best
yeah.
serve them. But I think that because you're so strongly, like, situated in, like, the EQ and kind of, like, mindset. How would you describe it?
Yeah, emotional intelligence
Mhm.
is like the foundation of my sales
Yeah.
psychology.
And I think that aligns with a lot of the strengths that women bring to this
100%.
space. And so
It's important.
they yeah, you, like, I think you allow women to play to their strengths, and
Oh,
that's
yeah.
huge. Yeah.
Women are miles ahead in terms of their emotional intelligence,
Yeah.
and they just develop that so much quicker.
Yeah, I mean, they're kinda socialized too, and it would be crazy to not
Yeah.
build on
Oh,
that
yeah,
if you
we're
can.
cavemen when it comes to that.
Well, I think that's the tricky thing is, like, I've definitely been coached by men, and it becomes this and you and I have talked about this too, where it's, like, such an important skill to be able to, take what you need from coaching and leave
Yeah.
the rest. And so there's been a lot of times where I'm like, "I'm never gonna objection handle like that, but thank you for teaching me the
Mhm.
principle of it.
Yeah.
Let me go and transform it."
Yes.
And I think with your coaching, it's really helpful because there's a lot less of do this and more what's your thought process? How can
Mm,
we turn this into your voice?
appreciate that. That's what I've noticed too in my journey with working with coaches. I've always kinda like you said, even if like the experience or the structure was messy, so long as I've gotten a couple nuggets, like I'm okay
Yeah.
with it. Although one of my first coaches, she charged me 3 grand a month. I was in her monthly membership, and on our second call, our second one-on-one, she showed up at the beach on her phone, and I was like, "Yo, I paid you 3 grand for this month. Like, that's like a lot of money for me right now." Because
Yeah.
I was still making maybe 10K, I
Yeah.
think less, and like I canceled it after. I was like, "That's completely
Y
unacceptable." There was 2 little nuggets that she gave me, which was funny, like, I actually learned it in the low ticket, but whatever, right?
What do you mean by that?
Like, I was in her low ticket membership, and then I
Yeah, yeah.
upsold to
Oh,
one-on-one.
okay, yeah.
So, the value I got was actually from the low ticket,
Mhm.
which is why I upsold in the first place. But either way, like, those 2 things, like, helped me, like,
Mhm.
they helped me close deals. I made my money back.
But
So,
because you implement.
'cause you
Yeah. I think a lot of people think you can just show up to calls and, like, gather information, but, like, just having information, it doesn't mean
just
anything.
kidding. You might as well just sit on YouTube all
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
That's another thing too is like I've worked with some sales coaches who aren't necessarily good coaches.
Mhm.
They'll talk at you, but if you can extract a couple pieces of
Mhm.
information and implement and then like revert like say, "Hey, this is what I heard.
Yeah.
Is this what I'm learning? Am I learning this properly?" Like that's also just as powerful
Oh, yeah.
too. And then I've worked with some coaches and it's more my style as well of like coaching my student to their
Mhm.
conclusion so it sticks with them.
Yep.
That works as well.
Totally.
But it's finding what works best for you, but also not being attached because you can make it work for yourself.
Totally, it doesn't mean you can't get value from it.
Yeah.
The way that you ask, I feel you know how they say, like, teaching something is so different than, like, being good at it or something like
Mhm.
that? The way that you coach requires well, I guess I'll speak for myself, but, like, requires me to teach it to you, and I think that helps it click best, and I think I realized, like, understand the way that you learn so you can seek that out,
Yeah.
but then also flex that muscle of, or I guess how would you recommend or how would you advise somebody in flexing that muscle of being able to pick what you need from something and leaving it? Like leaving the rest. Does that question make sense?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I think with, like, flexing your learning style is, like, not being fixated on, like, the vehicle, but the
Yeah.
outcome. Like, if depending on what you want, like, the outcomes you wanna achieve, like, the vehicle that get you there, don't really matter. Like, you need to take ownership to make it work for you. But I think your questions were like, how do you extract like the right pieces of information? Part of it is trial and error, but part of it is like, okay, does this make sense? How do I implement it?
Mhm.
And then when you implement it, what's the feedback you're getting?
Data. Just collect
Data.
data.
Okay.
Yeah. That's been a tricky part for me. I feel like as I'm gaining confidence in my skills, my technique, I realize like there's no one right way. And a question I've been asking myself a lot lately is like, when can I trust myself to kind of like diverge from like the classic advice or even like what your mentors are telling you or whatever and like what feels right for you on a call or in your coaching or in your business or whatever. Um, do you have any advice on like how you learn to trust your gut with that kind of stuff?
No, just trust it. Like, I can't give you advice on how to trust your gut.
Or like do you have questions you ask yourself when it comes to knowing whether or not what you're doing is trusting your gut?
No,
Cool.
unfortunately. I think it's like the more you just do it, then you'll get again the data or the feedback.
Yeah.
Right. And is it coming from like a place of like ultimately like is this coming from a place that's congruent and aligned or not?
Which I guess just comes back to being organized, tracking your data, being able to see like what's working, what's not, and like
Yeah.
being very analytical about your
And
approach.
well, it all stacks, right?
Yeah.
It's like, there's reps that don't want to do their end of day reports. Like
Mhm.
there's reps that don't want to track their data. And it's like those little things just overall, like just they just stack and stack and stack.
Yeah.
Right, and it's like when you're not I don't remember who would say it, but it's like small hinges, like, swing big doors, right? And, like, to me, it's like these when you're constantly doing these little things,
Yeah.
right? Like, think about it, like, if you're tracking your data every day for a month, the end of the month, how much more insight do you have into what's working, what
Oh,
isn't,
yeah. And how
right?
much more like leverage do you have for negotiating higher pay?
All the
Or if
things.
you're getting, if you're not performing, you're able to be like, "Well, yeah, of course I'm not performing. Look at the type of leads that are showing up. Look at the
Mhm,
problems we're running into.
mhm.
They're not showing up." But
Yeah.
if you can't do any of that, then you're just
That
stuck,
was
you know?
I made a lot of money when I co-created an offer with one of the owners I worked for, and it's because I was very consistent as their only rep. I was doing really well. I was making like 25K, and I got my work week to about 4 days, so that
Mhm.
was, like, ideal,
Mhm.
right? I was surfing a lot in San Diego, and then there was 1 month where my close rate just
Yeah.
off the deep end.
Y
And I'm looking back, I'm going to my coaches, I'm like, "What's going on here?" Like, I'm getting told to objection handle, do this. And, like, I sat back and I'm like, "Dude, you know what's happening? I'm not even pitching half of these people because
Oh,
we
yeah.
yeah, we sold financial coaching, and all these people I'm like, "Dude, all these people don't need financial coaching. They need to learn how to make more money."
Yeah.
Like, it would be unethical for me to have them take out, like, a credit card to buy this program that's not gonna serve them. So I brought all that data 'cause I had tracked it. I sat down with the owner, I'm like, "Dude, we're either having a marketing problem or the industry that we're serving is starting to shift, and there's more people are struggling financially.
Yep.
Can we serve them?" And we brainstormed over, like, a few days, and he was like, I know for a fact I can teach these people how to
Yep.
make more money with the marketing strategies that I've
Mhm.
learned for the last 12 years.
Mm.
So we co-packaged a BizOp offer,
Yeah.
and we beta tested it. We sold it at $1,200 from a webinar, and we sold like 36K on that first webinar. And like that was like the validation, like, yo, we got legs. And then
Mhm.
that month we made over 80 grand on back end sales. So I was getting a piece of that. Like I negotiated like 10% of
Yeah.
that because like I helped co-create it. And that now is the flagship offer. It's now the 5K program that we've just slowly added more
Yep.
like value to it and increased the price. But like I always say salespeople are the best like market research because
Mhm.
you're talking to people every day. And if you know that once you get to the level that you trust that it's not your sales skills and which you have to get there first,
Yeah.
right? But then you can start looking at trends and data
Mhm.
and bring those things to like the leadership team and make more strategic decisions. And that's how you step into these partnership roles.
Totally.
You know,
Yeah, it's way easier to position yourself as more of what's it like keystone, is that the word? As like a outside of just closing, like somebody that they need, wanna pay more or
yeah,
whatever, and you can start doing like little growth operating things or whatever, and then the instant you can show them you made them more money, then boom, you're not just a closer.
no,
Yeah, but none of that could have happened without data.
without data,
Yeah.
exactly. And then also, like, I have to hammer this home, you have to be a good closer. You have to know
Right.
that closing isn't another variable and that
Yeah.
you're just blaming everything else.
Yeah, yeah, it's
You
so
have to be good
true.
at that.
Yeah.
Because I was their top producer. Well, I was the only producer, but I was consistently bringing in like over 150K every month
Yep.
for over a year.
Yep.
So when that drop off happened, it's like, okay, it's not my closing.
Totally.
Like maybe if I had taken 3 weeks off, cool, it's a sales issue,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So just to make sure people don't start thinking they can skip that.
Yeah, yeah, you don't just get to not have a bunch of shitty months and be like, "Oh, no, look it. It's our ads."
Well, I've enjoyed this convo. Thanks for being here. We're here in Colombia. We're doing a co-working retreat for the Cafes for Closers crew. Any last nuggets you'd like to share?
I don't know, I think we covered it
I
all.
think we had a good one
Feeling good,
today.
yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Sweet.
Hey, this is Adele. I'm gonna be documenting a little bit more of my journey going from a 3K a month closer to a 15K a month closer, and then really moving into more of a growth operating space. I get to be jamming here with the guy that helped me do a lot of that. And if you are a female in this space and you're looking to really grow your skills, follow along for more.
If you made it all the way here, hope you took notes. Most important thing you can do is go out and implement. Now, go ahead if this is on YouTube, comment below frameworks. I have tons of trainings that I can send over, whether you're a closer or whether you're an offer, owner, operator, and you're starting to build a foundation of your sales teams. Those are typically the people that I train. Now, if you don't follow me yet on Instagram, I'm probably most active there. Andres_Piff Poppy is my Instagram. And if you don't know what Piff means, you're going to have a very hard time in this industry. See you in the next one. Thanks.